Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. I want to thank you for being with us. Lawyers on the rampage after grandparents George and Cindy Anthony refused to answer questions under oath pursuant to the law. They storm out, curse out the lawyers, contradict their own testimony. It's all caught on video. But now, the Anthonys heading first class for the biggest game in town to open up to millions of TV viewers. That's right, the Oprah Winfrey Show.
99% of the time, if Kaylee was not with Casey, it would be you or your wife watching her. Is that right?
Absolutely.
I know her fiance at that time, Jesse Grun, watched Kaylee.
No one else besides the three of us were watching our child, watching our granddaughter.
Christina Chester watched Kaylee.
In this 1% of the time that you two weren't watching it, who else would do the watching, to your knowledge?
I just answered that, sir. Supposedly related by the name of Zanny.
I know his father, Richard Grun, and his father, Deborah Grun, watched Kaylee for Casey, or Casey would work. It would have just all blown away for her if she wouldn't have gone and had her little Channel 6 and then Mr. Morgan parading her all around.
I feel sorry that you have to go through this. Really, I do. And I hope from this I'll be able to shake your hand when this is all over with and just say that I'm sorry.
Well, apparently there are going to be no handshakes after the grandparents, George and Cindy Anthony, refused to answer questions under oath, curse out all the lawyers, stomp out. Apparently Cindy Anthony had to be pulled away physically at some point during the deposition. Now they're going to open up about their story and their daughter's story to millions of viewers in the biggest daytime talk show that exists in this country, the Oprah Winfrey Show. Mark Williams, anchor and reporter, joining us from Orlando. What's the latest?
Well, they are prepping to go to Chicago-based Oprah Winfrey sometime next month.
Wait. Why do you say they're prepping? Why do they have to prep to tell the truth? Why did you say that?
I mean, you've got to put a suitcase or two together, even if they're paying first-class travel, Nancy. You know that. But, you know, George and Cindy Anthony will not talk to us, will not talk to the Nancy Grace Show.
There's a big difference between prepping in the legal world and packing. Okay, you said prepping, which suggests to me, Mark Williams, that they have to rehearse their answers.
Well, they have told some contradictory tales, Nancy. 10 days ago, you know, they kind of contradicted themselves as what they told investigators when their granddaughter first disappeared. And, you know, appearing on the Oprah Winfrey Show, she is the queen of afternoon TV talk. It occurs in May, and it also occurs, Nancy, during the biggest rating period of the TV industry, right in the middle of sweeps.
Hey, now don't try to put the blame on Oprah, saying she's doing this for the sweeps, which, you know, maybe she is, but it's not about her getting them on her show. It's about them going on a TV show and opening up, but refusing to answer questions under oath. I want to go back to what you just said, Mark Williams, about inconsistencies in their sworn statements, in their sworn testimony. Ellie Jostad, our chief editorial producer, inconsistencies like what?
Well, there's some differences in the testimony, both in how they describe things. They asked George one question, he describes it one way. They asked Cindy, she says something opposite. But I think most significant, they asked both George and Cindy, did Cindy ever send their private investigator to the location where the remains are found? In the depositions, they both say, no way. But in the police report, Detective Yuri Melich says that in front of another investigator and a couple other people, Cindy said, and this is in December when they were executing a search warrant, she said, I had my people walk that area already. Okay, we've got an inconsistency right there regarding, well, bottom line, did they know the location where Kaylee's skeleton had been disposed of? And if so, clearly they would have gotten it from their daughter, Tot Mom. That's the big question. They've got an inconsistency there, but what else? What other inconsistencies, Ellie Jostad? Well, another thing, they talk about the description of Zanny the nanny. George says that he's never heard a description of her until this all happened back in July of '08. However, Cindy says for the last 2.5 years, she's formed a picture in her mind based on the description that Casey gave her. Also, George Anthony says he's never had any knowledge of his daughter stealing money from family members. However, he told the police that she stole often, and she even took money from Kaylee's
that is a whopper.
bank.
That's a whopper. Now to Jane Casares from In Session, formerly Court TV. Jane, Ellie's right about that because it was a big stink when Top Mom tried to steal money from her grandparents' retirement fund, all right? Even stealing money from little Kelly, God rest her soul, piggy bank. What other inconsistencies are we talking about, Jane Casares?
That's right, and the relevancy there is if you've got a babysitter, you have to pay for that babysitter. Another one was who took care of Kaylee, because remember, the focus here is Kaylee. Cindy Anthony said that there were a number of people that took care of Kaylee. Jesse Grunn's mother, father, and also Zanny. George Anthony said 99% of the time it was the immediate family, and just 1% of the time it was Zanny.
It's your position about 99% of the time, if Kaylee was not with Casey, it would be you or your wife watching her. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So in this 1% of the time that you two weren't watching it, who else would do the watching, to your knowledge?
I just answered that, sir. Supposedly a lady by the name of Zanny. No one else besides the three of us were watching our child, watching our granddaughter.
There we go.
Who else would be in the category of, let's call them babysitters? Who else would there be?
I know her fiance at that time, Jesse Grunn, watched Kaylee. He watched her either at his parents' home or at my home. I know his father, Richard Grunn, and his father, his mother, Deborah Grunn, watched Kaylee for Casey. Well, Casey would work. I know that Christina Chester watched Kaylee.
Okay.
Holly Gagne watched Kaylee.